Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a good day, good afternoon out there. Went down to the river and applied my trade down there. And now I'm home. And welcome to the studio here. You can get you all on where you can see properly. All right. All right. Let's see if anyone jumps on into the chat or if we have any participation today. It's been a little bit on the channel as far as participants go last couple days, but that's totally fine. We're addressing all the emails and the different information. There we go. Yeah, that's a little bit better, but a little awkward too. Anyway, yeah, I know that the setup's not always ideal in these videos, but I am just trying to do them the best I can. Anyway, here I am. I'm a pretty tall person, yeah, 6'7". So, hope everyone's enjoying the channel so far, the Barbecue Network. I wanted to get to more emails that I got. Let me have some water real quick. Even though it's kind of cold weather out there, the sun's out, it gets kind of nice, so it was good to go outside today. I closed a deal on a TV show I'm working on, so you can expect to see some of my content on the air through ABC 2020 and a couple other different syndicated shows in the next several months. Very thankful, very blessed to have had closed this deal. And now basically don't have to work another day for the next 2 years. So I'm pretty good at what I do, and I am just going to keep working just so, I like to have extra money and like to have something to do every day and all that. Thank you so much for joining out me in the live stream. Go ahead and identify yourselves in the chat, and hope everyone's having a delightful day out there. Like I said, very fortunate to have the sun out today and get some exercise. And I'm going to do some movie talk here. Basically, I wanted to explore a little bit more about the question that someone proposed to me. I was answering some Q&A questions during my Memoirs of an Invisible Man commentary. And a question that was kind of fascinating to me. It was like, if you could switch out any one actor from one well-known role with another actor from a well-known role, what would you do and why? I can't remember exactly how I started thinking about this, but I started thinking, if I could switch out Steve Martin for Chevy Chase in House Sitter, it'd be interesting to see the results there. I kind of liked when Chevy plays this kind of guy that doesn't have everything. I mean, he has everything he wants in the business world through stockbroking and all that, but still has this angst and this discontent. I find that character trait to be very prevalent in the Steve Martin character in House Sitter. Clearly, Steve Martin does a great job in that film, but I would love to have seen, it made with a different actor just to see how that would turn out. It's not to say I don't like the results or anything like that. Couple other things. I think Bill Murray was extremely miscast in The Man Who Knew Too Little. It's kind of an obscure 90s Bill Murray movie. I think if you put Jim Carrey in that role, or if you put Robin Williams in that role, or someone else in that role, then it would have gone a lot better. I'm not saying it would have been a great movie or anything, but it's been interesting to see the results of that. So it's been a really cool email when you get an email question like that, where you start thinking about it days and days later. If I could have substituted out, talking more serious movies and stuff, if I could have substituted out the Kevin Bacon role and actor in A Few Good Men, I find that he grinds the movie to a halt. Is it Kevin Bacon? Kiefer Sutherland does good. Is Kevin Bacon in it? I might be wrong, but anyway, if you could add Anthony Edwards in some way to A Few Good Men, I feel that would be not necessarily like the movie needs to have an improvement, but I think that he would have been a good fit with that kind of movie. Similarly, I really like Anthony Edwards quite a lot. So if you could figure out ways to get Anthony Edwards in other movies, that would be really cool. Like I would have loved to have seen Anthony Edwards um, get the big roles sometimes, maybe even a Bond villain role, maybe even the cop partner that ends up going bad, those kind of roles. But he was quite busy with ER in that era. Um, so he's definitely one of my favorite actors. Definitely look forward to seeing him in other things. I love the movie Gotcha. I think he does a really good performance. Of all the teenagers and young adults that were acting in the 80s, that's the one role and the one movie and the one character that I think kind of gets overlooked. So anyway, thank you so much for that question. It's one of my favorite questions. This was a great question that I got on email. And by the way, I have a really great memory. So if I don't get the exact verbiage right in your exact email, I'm really sorry, but I don't like fumbling around with a bunch of papers and obviously having my devices in front of me and all that. It's not something I'm really into. Um, so the next one, let me just think for a minute. Joe in Hilton Head, South Carolina. Joseph in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And his question was really awesome. It's like, which movie or TV show or thing that you like to watch is like a bolt of energy to you? It's like a jolt of electricity. Like basically, when you're watching it, you feel like you're plugged in and charging up and ready to go up and at 'em, I guess. I'd say Swordfish, the beginning of Swordfish. If I watch the whole thing, definitely that as well. But if you're talking about just a sequence, say, I can edit together a quick highlight reel of Swordfish just by hitting the button a couple different times. I'd watch the first 6 minutes of Swordfish, then the part where the guy gets shot through the glass, and then I'd watch maybe the Halle Berry reveal, and then I'd watch a couple other different scenes, and I probably would fast forward right to the ending and watch that awesome action movie ending that very rarely ever happens, where a villain actually wins and you're rooting for the villain to win. So that's one for sure. Swordfish. Days of Thunder pumps me up. So I don't know if I'd actually slog through the whole movie or just watch a couple highlights of that on YouTube. Another one that really gets me going is Hard Bodies. Talking Hard Bodies. Everybody, I'm talking Hard Bodies. So that song and that movie, that whole vibe of that movie, could watch a little bit of it and get all jazzed up. Roadhouse, seen it so much, but it jazzed me up pretty good too. So there's a bunch. I guess those are four. If I could think of maybe a comedy or like to say like a drama, I guess that jazzes me up. Aviator, some scenes in it. Obviously, it's a slog, but you're just gonna sit through that and get some adrenaline from it. I do like some aspects of that. Also, if I'm just gonna get a couple minutes to myself, or just go do something or whatever, and check into something. I love Mike Tyson's interview show, Hot Boxing. It's on YouTube. Started a couple months back. I can't recommend it highly enough. You're getting to see Mike Tyson basically espouse his wisdom to others, sit there and smoke joints with people. I hope they bring a bong into that show soon enough because their throats probably are all torn up. But that's their concern. If they want to smoke out of joints, they're more than welcome to do so. The Edge. The Edge is another movie that pumps me up. Pumps me up. I love that movie. And To Live and Die in LA. So jumping around, I really do appreciate that question as well. I felt that this was another question I wanted to address, and then I'm going to go over a couple a couple of their DVDs, talk about them. So the next one is I don't know. I thought it was a good question. She lives in North Dakota, and her name's Maria, and I really do appreciate it. I used to interact with Maria quite a lot. At one point, she lived in California, and she was a follower of some of my work in television, and Anyway, she now lives in North Dakota and works in public television out there. Um, her question's pretty unique. So I love what you're doing and the channel and all that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Um, and it's like basically, what movie is like a brick wall to get through? Like, as in, what movie do you try to watch and you just can't get through? Oh man, there's quite a handful of them, quite a lot through the years, to be honest. Right now, um, God, what is one I keep popping on and then popping off? Um, oh, the one the other day was Poltergeist 2. I can't stand that movie. I love Poltergeist 3. I'm indifferent to Poltergeist 1. I really don't like Poltergeist 2. I find it very difficult to get through. I find that this kind of ghost genre, unless there's people actually dying in it and, uh, instead of just the constant screaming and all that, I find that very difficult to get through. Another one I find very difficult to get through. Um, I think that's basically it. I usually have enough patience. When I used to have cable or whatever, satellite, whatever it's called, I would I'd have more of an issue with that. I would all the choices out there, I'd switch if I didn't something didn't catch my interest in the first 5 minutes. But I've become more patient and discerning as a viewer. Um, Sometimes things get in the way when I'm in the middle of doing something. I'll have to go, and that happened, I think, with Mr. Majestic. But by God's sakes, man, Mr. Majestic is in no way a slog to get through. It's just I was a little bit, I think, distracted or fell asleep the first time. So that happens quite often. If your question was how many movies do you fall asleep through or see part of and then end up having to rewatch and fall asleep through, that would be quite a lot. That'd be quite a lot. Alias, the TV show. I just rewatched like episode 1 and 2 and all that, and there were parts that I didn't even remember because I found it not necessarily a slog to get through, but kind of a logical jump. And when you have to make that kind of, you're gonna make that leap of logic or you're not, and that kind of thing can happen as well. But very, very much thank you for the question. I'll try to think a little bit more. I'm sure there's a couple others that are, brick wall to get through that I just basically, once I reach a certain point, I turn the movie off. I have Dangerous Liaisons over there, and I've been fearing that that's going to happen with that, so I haven't played it. I think probably Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, even though I was on the set of that movie, that was definitely one of them. In fact, I do remember putting it on and stopping it sometime in the last year. But there's more to be revealed. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of movies still that I haven't seen, so I'll basically have to be patient during the beginnings of some of them, obviously, right? Because some of them don't turn out. There's some of them, aren't as good and all that. So, hey, this is something for you all to think about. When wherever you're all watching these videos, I hope you're enjoying them. Go ahead and message me in the comments if you know of any video stores, DVD stores, Blu-ray stores that are closing in your region. Obviously, a lot are closing. So go ahead and let me know. I deal with a lot of vendors, and I'm trying to buy a lot at wholesale and basically recreate a video or DVD store here in this residence. So go ahead and let me know if you know of particular people that sell DVDs, Blu-rays, etc., home media, stores that are closing, etc. I don't watch Cinema Sickness every day, and so let me know if his store has anything. This should be a good place for us to share our love of home media, DVDs, and Blu-rays. I did a Q&A live stream discussion last night, and I went off. I went off on why I don't like streaming. And I've never really verbalized too much of why I don't like streaming. Sure, I'll probably start streaming again in the next year or two. I'm not sure when. But then once I'm streaming again, I'm going to watch all the stuff that I missed and then turn it off again. It's one of those things that I don't like getting all that stuff available to me because I like to be able to choose what I'm going to watch rather than just have all this crap and then maybe 4 or 5 things that I want to watch. Also, if anyone's seen the Michael Jackson documentary and you guys are good at finding links for that kind of stuff online, I'd really like to watch it. I don't really want to sign up for HBO or Amazon Prime and all that. I was recently a member and I didn't find it to be that cool. Like, just honestly, I found it to be really lame. So if you guys know of any way to watch that documentary, that'd be much appreciated. Anyway, we got a watcher out there. I don't know who you are. You can go ahead and write in the live chat. Maybe you're busy with some other activities. I'm not sure. I'm going to get to another Q&A question in a little while. I figured I'd go over some more of these push tab ones that I have. I gave some respect to Morgan Creek as a company yesterday for their great production through the years. True Romance, Young Guns, Young Guns 2, Ace Ventura. In my opinion, Morgan Creek was a very, very good, I guess, company, I guess you would call it. So this is Young Guns 2. This is directed by Jeff Murphy. I believe Jeff Murphy would go on to direct Under Siege 2. So in terms of making sequels, he did quite good. Dean Semler, DP on this, would go on to be the DP on Super Mario Brothers. And if you haven't seen, I mean, obviously the music by Alan Silvestri is iconic in the Young Guns franchise, especially Young Guns 2. I can't do it exactly, but you get the point, I hope. Songs by John Bon Jovi, Going Down, A Blaze of Glory. That was an iconic part of anyone's childhood who grew up in that era. Joe Roth, an executive producer in addition to James G. Robinson and John Fusco, written by John Fusco. I mean, this is a pretty talented amount of people behind the scenes, you know? And then in front of the camera, I mean, it kind of speaks for itself. You got Emilio Estevez back, Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, Christian Slater, and William Peterson, Balthazar Getty, among many others. Alan Ruck, I think, does a very effective job in the film as well. And I'm going to say it, this movie is like light years better than Young Guns 1. Young Guns 1 is good, but Young Guns 2 is freaking classic. Did not perform as well at the box office as Young Guns 1, but yet very proud of this movie indeed. Best original, is an Oscar-nominated song, and Best Original Song winner at the Golden Globes. So it's basically about Pat Garrett going after Billy the Kid. I find the featurette on it, you know, brief, but gets the job done. Talks about how they're only going to make Young Guns 2 if it's going to be, you know, as good as or, you know, like on the level as the first one. And they sure are correct in that. They sure made a movie that far, in my opinion, far exceeds the original. Is the original bad? No. But I just find the original to be not as good as part 2. Nothing against Jack Palance. He steals the movie. But I find this to be an interesting one indeed. William Peterson, from To Live and Die in L.A., Manhunter, the CSI movies, or CSI TV show. He plays Pat Garrett. And of course, Billy the Kid is played by Emilio Estevez. Why they never made Young Guns 3? No clue. There could have been other adventures, other things. It didn't have to be directly in the timeline. Will they reboot this? Don't know. Haven't heard it. Think it's odd that it hasn't been discussed but once, not once. So, yeah, revel in seeing Lou Diamond Phillips, Kiefer, Christian Slater all together. You know, it's an all-star cast, especially what they were doing at that time. Next movie I'd like to discuss is Menace to Society. Now, if you haven't seen this, you may have seen Boys in the Hood, but go and see this movie. I mean, I don't know what Tyron Turner is up to. I know I saw him in Panther in the mid-90s, but Tyron Turner, who plays Kane in this movie, does a really good job. I'm surprised to see that he hasn't popped up in any other movies. Charles S. Dutton has, as they say, a dynamic supporting role. Bill Duke has a very memorable role as well. Directed by twin brothers Alan and Albert Hughes, this is a critically acclaimed cinematic masterpiece, brilliantly detailing the real life in today's inner city. I completely agree with that. In fact, I feel that this movie was snubbed for many Oscar nominations at the time. At the time, movies like this just weren't getting nominated at all, and to some extent still may never get nominated. I think Moonlight winning. I've never seen Moonlight, but I don't think it probably compares to Menace to Society. I know that's kind of, I shouldn't say that until I see the movie, but this is about the inner city. This is about living in the LBC. This is about a dude that's not gonna amount to much, and he's the protagonist. And I'm not gonna spoil anything, but you gotta watch the movie and see exactly what happens. It's not the kind of movie, the kind of promising, oh yeah, everything's gonna be okay message type movie. Menace to Society is a very powerful movie. I'd love to see a follow up to it. I'd love to see a Menace to Society, not necessarily a remake, but about how people are living in that community now, up almost 30 years later at this point, 25 years later. That things really haven't changed for the better, even though we all think that they have. Um, Interview with the Hughes brothers. Some interesting information on the making of the movie. There's a widescreen and full frame version of it. If you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what you've been waiting for. I don't know if the Hughes brothers are still getting along as much, or because I know they're working on separate projects and stuff. But it doesn't get much better than this. In fact, I'm looking forward to watching this movie again. Tyrone Turner, Jada Pinkett Smith, before she was Jada Pinkett Smith, just Jada Pinkett, and Lorenz Tate. Lorenz Tate would go on to be a well-known actor. He would be in Dead Presidents with Amy as well, and Love Jones. I think Tyrone Turner should have been in more. I don't know. Maybe this was just a guy they found, and he wasn't really interested in getting out there for more roles and all that. The screenwriter named Tiger Williams. Oh gosh, I really want to try to contact that guy. Tyger Williams. He wrote a very bleak, semi-inspiring, but really realistic tale. And I really, 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 really recommend Menace to Society. There's no commentary track on this one, but I'm trying to find, I think there probably is a home media release that has one. It's 104 minutes, so an hour and 44 minutes. And if you've never seen it, it came out in May of '93 and made a little bit of money in theaters, and then just basically became something that critics love it, but did they pull for it to get nominated and all that? No. It didn't get like any award recognition. But the Hughes brothers have gone on to tremendous success, relatively. I think they made From Hell, several other movies. But obviously this is still their greatest achievement. I believe they made it in their young 20s. So definitely check out Menace to Society. Go ahead and take a couple more emails out there. Hope everyone's doing good. Oh, yeah, I'm wearing the Friday the 13th shirt. Might as well discuss Friday the 13th a little bit. I would love to start a dialogue with you all about Friday the 13th. What you most like about it, what scenes in the franchise you most like. Do you like the scenes that are in nighttime? Do you like the scenes that are in the daytime? I like the daytime scenes in Friday the 13th quite a lot. I like when they're setting up the camp. I'm talking about all the movies in general. So I have some insight into what's going on with the Friday the 13th, Victor Miller, Sean Cunningham situation, having been someone that's become friendly with a lot of the insiders in the series, and also Victor and Sean themselves. I have it on good word. During a recent Lakers road trip into the Bay Area, Victor Miller and LeBron James met for lunch to discuss, how LeBron can help get to the situation where Sean and Victor can be on the same page and move forward with some new programming, video games, and movies for Friday the 13th. As Sean had been dead set on making a new Friday the 13th TV show based more like with Jason. So there's a lot always going on with that series. So go ahead out there and rank your favorite Friday the 13th movies. We got that shy person out there. Shy person watching live, go ahead and tell me in your chat if you can, or leave a comment. Tell me exactly what your order, your favorite Friday the 13th movies are, and in what order. That's hard for me to do. I like 8 quite a lot. I like 6 quite a lot. I like 3 quite a lot. I like 4 quite a lot. I like 5 quite a lot. I like 2. You know what I'm saying? I like a lot of them. I guess there's a second tier down beyond the ones I don't like as much, and those would be maybe Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X. Um, 7 I like a lot, so it's hard to say it would be in that lower tier. The remake is in the lower tier, of course, or whatever the '09 version wants to call itself nowadays. But yeah, I just really want to keep the energy going where we're talking about Friday the 13th a lot because I'm planning some big events with the movie franchise. I have permission to make the Camp Crystal Lake Festival once I get everything in line for that and can get everyone invited from the series and set up all the events and things that we're going to be having at the Camp Crystal Lake Festival. I highly invite all of you to participate and to join and to rent cabins and be part of the Camp Crystal Lake Festival because it will be only as strong as the people that want to participate make it. So I'm looking forward to that very much. Go ahead and take another email. And this one, I really like this question. Really, really like this question. What movie that didn't succeed? This is from William. And he lives over there in Virginia, so I've never actually met William. He's been following my work since my early days in television. William, thank you so much. I appreciate it. William wants to say he doesn't like remakes too much, but basically, like, what movie would I like to see remade and would benefit from it? Okay, so you're talking basically what movie? He meant like non-franchise movie. What just movie out there? What movie would I like to see remade? Um, that's a challenging question. I would like to see this movie remade, but I'm not the biggest Ed Wood fan, and I'd like to see more. I'd like to see his life portrayed a little bit differently. So I'd like to see an Ed Wood movie, not remade, but more about, you know, I don't know. I find Ed Wood's tone to not be up my alley, I guess to say. So I'd like to see that redone, retouched. I'd love to see The Fan remade. The Fan is literally one of my favorite movies, starring Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes, Benicio del Toro, Ellen Barkin, among others. I think it's a criminally underrated movie, and I'd love to see that get remade. So I think that's what you're going for, basically some movie that didn't actually succeed in its incarnation, and see it get remade. I'd love to see a sequel to What My White Men Can't Jump. I wouldn't like to see it remade. I'd like to see a sequel. Um, I'd like to see a remake of Air America. I liked it, the Robert Downey Jr. Mel Gibson movie, but I think that I didn't really get it when I saw it because they were going for too much of a comedic approach. Now, I'm not saying take all comedy out of it, but just make it a little bit more where there's some severe stakes involved. I'd love to see Bird on a Wire remade. I think Bird on a Wire is a really underrated movie, and wouldn't mind just owning that and maybe seeing that remade one day. Um, um, I'd like to see Argo remade. I think Argo sucks. I think Argo is kind of an interesting story on the surface, but the way it's done, I'd like to see that movie actually done up to my standard or how I'd like to see the movie be done. So those are just a couple. I really do appreciate the question. My question goes right back to you. Which movie that succeeded or didn't succeed would you like to see remade? Let me know down in the comments or in the live chat. I do appreciate it. Thanks. And another push tab, Warner Brothers / New Line DVD that I have is right here. Now, I do have a favorite actor that's in this film, and it is Fred Ward. But this is called The Player. And it's not like someone that does well with the ladies. They mean basically the player, as in like when you're a mover and shaker in Hollywood, I think they call people the player. Seems kind of like a dated word or term, but back in the day, it's 1992 when this comes out, it didn't do much in theaters, but became very popular on video, very popular with critics, very popular with people. This movie is a very, very good movie, and I highly recommend it. If you've never seen The Player, by all means, check it out. I mean, it's got some of the more memorable cameos in movie history, to say the least. The cast itself is really good. You know, Whoopi Goldberg in a very, very memorable performance. Greta Scacchi, probably her best role. She was in Shattered, among many other movies. Fred Ward, really a good performance in this movie. Fred Ward fans has got to see this movie. If you like him in Remo Williams, if you've seen him in Miami Blues, etc. I mean, he was in Naked Gun 33 and a Third. I mentioned that last night. You got Peter Gallagher in a really good role. Underrated actor Brian James in a really good role. Cynthia Stevenson, the heart of the movie, does a great job. The production designer, Stephen Altman, Robert Altman's son, tremendous job. Thomas Newman, the score, strength of the movie. Michael Tolkien wrote the screenplay and also produced the movie, but also had some issues with Robert Altman. Michael Tolkien's kind of a disagreeable guy in real life. God bless him and his talent and his books and his writing ability and all that. He did write Changing Lanes, so that's not really one of the better movies ever made. But anyway, I think he probably wrote a good screenplay to begin with. So what you saying? You're saying basically, who's Robert Altman? What's this movie about? Well, Robert Altman made MASH. He made Nashville. He made all sorts of movies, Ready to Wear, and this basically got his career back up and going. He made Vincent and Theo a couple of years before this, which was a hit with critics, but this was a hit with critics and also caught, I guess you could say, part of the zeitgeist in the early 90s and then later. So basically, Oscar-nominated director Robert Altman dishes up a brilliant, outrageous, celebrity-studded thriller. Yeah, it's a good thriller. A murderous obsession among Hollywood's glamorous elite. A movie studio executive, Griffin Mill, played by Tim Robbins. This is the first starring role, real bona fide starring role for Tim Robbins besides Bob Roberts, and the first one that I saw him in. And I think he really does a very quietly good job in this film. He's a green lighter. He's one of the movie studio executives that listens to pitches all day, and he starts receiving anonymous death threats from a rejected screenwriter. And Vincent D'Onofrio's in the movie too. I forgot to mention that. So Griffin Mill's having a shaky career. It starts to crumble. His desperation drives him to kill. But when they're trying to reveal too much on the back of this DVD, in my opinion. So basically, check it out. He's getting threatened by a screenwriter who wants to get a movie made, and then things go from there. It does have a book. I remember checking the book out years back. I found the book to be nothing as good as this. This has a lot of cool cameos. You got Jack Lemmon playing the piano in it. You got Marlee Matlin in it. You got Bruce Willis, Julia Roberts. I mean, you can go on and on and on. It's got a hardcore good cast in it. And I really hope everyone can enjoy the movie. I'm going to do a live stream commentary and discussion a little bit later as well. I'm hoping to get some participation from people out there. And go ahead and take one more email, and then we'll shut it down. Trying to remember. Okay, yeah, this is Robbie, and he lives in Tennessee, a couple states over. Hoping to get together and exchange some DVDs in the future, perhaps. He wants me to say what is my favorite excuse me action movie commentary. I immediately thought of SWAT for some reason, but I don't know if it does have a commentary on that. So I guess maybe SWAT had some good making of or information on that. Face Off has really good commentaries on it. Tell me what your favorite action movie commentary is. I'm all ears. I'd like to know. I find Die Hard's one to be good. Looking forward to hearing the Lethal Weapon commentaries if there are. I bought a set that doesn't have any commentaries on it. Another action movie commentary, The Running Man. Probably I learned the most for that commentary. So I would say that. Yeah, there's a lot of other action movie commentaries I really like too. I would love to see if there is a commentary for Sniper, one of my favorite action movies. If that can be, if someone knows of one that they could recommend, that would be really cool. Swordfish has a commentary. I do like that commentary. It's not probably my favorite or anything like that. Oh, Demolition Man. Demolition Man's commentary. Really underrated in terms of commentaries and how they go. So those are a couple. Hope you enjoyed this live stream. We're gonna go ahead and take care of some stuff. And if anyone wants to participate, they know a good time to do a Google Hangout. They want to be involved in the comments. They want to leave some messages for when is a good time to do another live chat or live stream. Go ahead and do so. I appreciate all the emails and the Q&A questions and some of the Friday the 13th talk. Hopefully we'll talk a little bit more about the franchise going forward. And really looking forward to getting to know all y'all out there and answering your questions and doing more commentaries and more DVD and Blu-ray discussion. All right, bye for now. Thanks so much.